every single day. The fourth thing that you need to do if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your deed is you leave something secret between you and Allah alone. See, ya ikhwati fillah, the things that we do in public may not count. Us as the speakers, we talk to you. We quote the hadith and the Quran and the Sunnah and all this. But Allah knows if this can be counted. Why? Because what I think is what counts is what we do between you and Allah alone. Not what we do in public. Because sometimes shaitan comes to you. You organize a conference or on an event. Shaitan will say, it was a successful event. What a successful event. You come and deliver a lecture, shaitan will say, that was a good lecture. You come to Salatul Masjid, to Jama'ah, in a masjid, and the shaitan will say, pray well, so the people will see how perfect you're praying. You come to a halaqah, a shaitan will say to you, mashallah, let the people see you students of knowledge. So at the end of the day, you don't know how much that you have on your book. But if you do a deed that is only between you and Allah, you can rest assured that this is for you. Abdullah ibn Mubarak was one of the ulama. He was a alim and mujahid fi sabilillah. He was one of the people who always used to do things behind closed doors. Will never expose his hasanat. Never expose his hasanat. And one of the battlefield and the tradition was, you have the mujahideen and you have the enemy of Islam. And then they used to challenge one another. So when a non-Muslim came from the army of the non-Muslim, and he asked for someone to challenge him. Someone to challenge him. So a mu'min came. Mujahid fi sabilillah. But he was killed immediately by that mushrik. And then another Muslim came, and that Muslim was immediately killed by the same man. 7 of the Muslims came, and all of them were killed. And then a man who his face is covered with a strange horse comes out of nowhere, and he challenged this man, and he kills him on the spot. And the mu'mineen all say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And they wanted to know who is this hero who saved the day. But they cannot see his face. And he's holding his mask tight, so tight, that no one can remove the mask. And then one of the people who were very close to Abdullah ibn Mubarak, he grabbed his hand with one hand and he removed the mask from the face of that knight. فَإِذَا هُوَ بِعَبْدُ ibn Mubarak. And that night was Abdullah ibn Mubarak. And then Abdullah ibn Mubarak, Ya Aba Fulan, Hatta anta mimman yashinna alayna. He said, Ya Aba Fulan, even you are against us? Now Allah may not accept my deed. Because he assumed that if people get to know the deed that he performed, Allah will not accept his deed. And subhanallah, this is what we're missing. As Muslims nowadays, we do everything open. You and I are perfect Muslims outside. But behind closed doors, only Allah knows. What do we do behind closed doors? What do we watch? What do we listen? Do we stand in front of Allah and weep in the darkness? We may not do that. But we come to Salat al-Taraweeh and we pretend that we're crying with the dua. Subhanallah. Imam An-Nawawi said, if you perfect your ibadah outdoors, when people can see you, and you perform your ibadah in a lower level when you are alone, then Allah will reward everything that you do openly with the minimum that you do behind closed doors. So if you go and you say, MashaAllah, I'm going to stand up for Qiyam al-Layl for Ramadan, but the rest of 11 months of the year you don't stand up for Qiyam al-Layl, then rest assured Allah may reward you nothing because you did nothing behind closed doors. So you need to have that amal, that deed, that on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, you can say to Allah, I did this for you. And remember, out of the first 3 people that Jahannam would start with, it is not Iblis and his army. It is not a munafiqeen. Rather, they would be person of knowledge, person who used to worship Allah, generous person, a person who died apparently for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do not belittle the status of doing good deeds behind closed doors.